So we're here today talking about escape and arrival scenarios. Just one of the concepts that we use in our own facilitation with our clients. But we really wanted to do a video that talked about escape and arrival, that we could show a lot of people that you can start to do some of this stuff yourself, and we can help you out with that. And so we really came and put this video together for that very reason.
Well, I want to like just sort of back that up a little bit. I mean, everyone talks about story-driven marketing and telling marketing stories, but no one knows what that means. Like what do you just tell a story? How do you tell a story? What do you? I mean, this is a product. How do I tell a marketing story on my product or around a service, right? And and the escape and the arrival framework is really the structure for that, right?
Mhm. I get excited when we talk about escape route. It's my favorite concept that we use to talk about because I think it's one of the easiest concepts to understand. It's not necessarily easy to employ. It's easier than some of the others, but it's fun, right? And a lot of things in society and in our world relate to this escape and arrival scenario. It is the foundation of story-driven marketing. It is really where everything starts when you're going to tell a story, especially a story that connects with, your client. We know that the customer's transformation is based on thousands of years of storytelling. The age old thing of you have a hero goes on a journey, meets a mentor, mentor gives them a plan, and then they either succeed or fail.
Yep.
Right? So you want to
Well,
expound on that a
I
little
mean,
bit?
well, the storytelling. This is like the oldest human technology,
Mhm.
and it's noteworthy. Like I don't know, like if did you ever watch any of the Game of Thrones or any of that stuff?
All of them, yeah.
So for like the last season of Game of Thrones, every episode, 1 billion people tuned in to a story, right? It's just a story and a bit like, oh my God, that's so many people. Like
Yeah.
just for a story. That's how powerful stories are. And so we keep on being told, well, you need to be doing marketing stories. Your copy needs to be marketing stories. Social media needs to be marketing stories. So this keeps on being, the experts keep on putting this out, but they don't tell us what that is. And you just did it very succinctly. It's the escape and arrival. There's the hero, which is the customer. The hero is always the customer. The customer is always the hero. The company is never the hero. The company is the mentor. The hero goes on a journey. There's a problem where they are right now. There's some sort of pain point. And then the arrival is this place where their life is better, where they're transformed one way or another. There's a mentor that is this kind of this instrumental pivot point that really kind of is between them. And we see this in so many different, in pretty much every movie and every story, where you have like this main character, and then they want to do a thing and they're frustrated and stymied one way or another. There's some sort of problem. There's some sort of pain. Every customer who is making a purchase decision is doing that because one way or another they have a belief in a future self without that pain and without that problem. And so the customer is the hero, and then the company is that mentor.
And that leads in perfectly to a lot of the things that we see on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
We talk to a lot of businesses. We get to know a lot of people in the business sphere, right? And the main things that we typically see is that they don't know what to say,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
They're making guesses on how to go about the marketing language and how to go about telling stories.
Well, it's the horrors of looking at that blank screen, knowing I've got a social media post, I have got ad copy, I've got email copy, I have to put together a presentation, and that terrible feeling of looking at that blank screen, going, okay, what do I do?
And it's not working. What they're doing, it's not working consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things work, but they don't know why they work.
Yeah.
And sometimes they fail and they don't know necessarily why they fail. And this is, what we're talking about today is finding that place to take you so that you can know why it works and why it doesn't work. It gives some more foundational strategies to building escape and arrival scenarios and or stories that you can tell, right?
Well, and so like an easy example of a story is, I'm doing work on my house and I buy a drill bit because I need to make some holes in wood. And it's really important that I do that. Like let's say that I'm building a shed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm working on that shed, but the drill bits are just so dull and it keeps on not working and not working and not working. So then there's this fantastic drill bit company. And they tell me that I can build my shed better and easier and cheaper. My shed, my project, my problem. And when I see that and I'm like, oh wait, they're talking to me. and they're talking to what I need, right? And I have this problem, this pain in the moment where I keep on having to spend more time and pushing on the drill and so on and so forth. It's all about me as a customer. And so then I see that messaging that tells me, okay, you're in this painful place now. Here is a future, and here is this vehicle to the future. That they're telling my story, and they're telling it to me, and then I'm going to believe that. And what am I going to do? Well, clearly, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy the newer, better drill bits because I'm sick and tired of having that same problem over and over again. I want that future me that looks like a badass doing my holes, getting the attachments in, building my shed, and killing it.
And you said, creating those holes, right? And the thing, which goes back to that old adage a lot of people know, is that when you're doing something like that, you don't want a drill bit,
No, I
right? You
want
want
a
the hole.
hole.
You want
Yeah.
the hole, right? Everybody knows that story. And what you're really talking about, though, with that, the entire story of you needing to drill these holes, to do this project, to be successful, to be happy, to accomplish whatever it is for yourself, or for your wife or whoever, whoever you're doing it for, is you're really talking about understanding your customers' transformation.
Mhm.
If you can understand how this story and the trajectory of this story goes for your own customer, it allows you to tell stories about it. But not just stories, it allows you to tell authentic marketing stories about it and have a truly authentic connection with that consumer, with that customer, that person you want to reach.
The story for that drill bit company to tell is how um, the customers of that drill bit are badass contractors, even though they're not contractors. You want to feel competent and skilled like a badass contractor feel. And so then for that company, that's the escape and arrival, and that's transformation. That customer wants. They want to feel like they're competent and know exactly what they're doing. And so then of course when you do that, then the customer is going to make a decision for themselves without being sold to buy those drill bits, because if they believe the story and the drill bit is the mentor, right? The company is the mentor, then you don't have to make a value proposition. The customer will make a decision for themselves to buy. This changes marketing from selling to people to instead telling them stories that implant in them these ideas and beliefs where they will then rationalize their own purchase decision.
How do you approach escape and arrival scenarios in Dexia's facilitation process?
Well, so we believe very firmly that a secret to good marketing is humility. The truth is that my customers know more about their product, more about their service, and more about who they sell to
Mhm.
than I will ever learn from any survey, from any market research. There is just no substitute for years or decades of experience. There just isn't. And if you're going to do good marketing, then you have to humble yourself and recognize that the client knows better than we do. And so if you do that, then we can use facilitation to unlock the knowledge the client already has. The problem is that when you're in the thick of it, I mean, it's like when I'm looking for something in the fridge and I ask my wife, where is it? And she's like, it's right in the front. Of course it is. I just didn't see it. And when you're in it every day, it's hard to see those stories of transformation because you're in it every day. So in the facilitation exercises, we touch on the necessary ingredients for the story. What is the pain that they have right now? And that pain is whatever problem your service or product solves. And we have to understand that pain from the customer's viewpoint, because the marketing and everything else is about the customer. And I can't, like, this is so important. It's not about your company. It's not about my company. It's about who the company serves. And so then understanding the pain and being able to do it from their language, how the customer talks about it, how they experience it, how they perceive it, you need that to tell a story. And then you have the end of the story, right? Which is the arrival, where their life is improved, the customer is transformed, they're empowered, whatever it needs to be. So to do that, we really need to understand, what are those desires? What is that future self for the customer or for the client or for whoever? What does that look like? But from their point of view, this can't be about us. This has to be about them.
And really, you're taking them where they're at now. And we talk about this in other videos. And I love this idea of you're really selling or proposing their future self
So that
to them now, to their present self. That's really what people are buying. And we
Well,
go in
and
there.
if you know their desires, then you can do that. If you do not understand with depth what the customer desires are, then the story is just going to sound like BS.
And that's the key to the perspective you're talking about, is that whether or not you're doing our type of facilitation and really doing a deep dive into these things, you can still do this if you are willing to look at it from this perspective. It's really, you need to shift the perspective that you have about how you're doing marketing, and how you're using language and how you're using language within marketing stories to really connect authentically with your customer. So I think we've gone over a lot of really great concepts with escape and arrival. We talked about selling the future self back to someone.
But can we talk about, like, I just want to take a second, like, once a company
Yeah,
really understands that escape to
yeah,
arrival, when you're staring at that screen, the ad copy almost writes itself, because whether you're making a post on social media, or it's a newsletter, or it's an advertisement, or even a script for an ad,
yeah.
knowing what to say becomes so much more clear, because now this is the story that we need to tell. We understand how they hurt. We understand the problem that they have from their point of view. So then that's the start of your story. That's the genesis of it, right? And then that you need to tell a story that ends with that better future self. And so then when you know the beginning and you know the end, then it's a much more straightforward exercise on connecting them and having them. So then no matter what it is, you're not sort of stuck. And these stories don't have to be like long. I mean, you take brands like Nike and like Apple, they tell these stories sometimes without even using words, just with using imagery, where they will, like with Nike had some incredible advertisements on Find Your Greatness,
Hmm.
and they have a video that just starts off with a young person, like a 12-year-old who's overweight and he's running, and they talk about how anyone can be great. It's not something that you're born with. Anyone can choose it. It is a choice of how you react to the world. The entire thing is less than 10 seconds long, but we just got a story. They showed us a story with this kid, and we can see the pain. He wants to be healthier, right? And then they talk with the text on how everyone wants to be great. That's the arrival, right? And then they have this kid running. We see him running, right, and sweating. Um, and that's the whole story, right? There's the escape, there's the arrival. Nike doesn't need to tell us to buy their
There's no
shoes or their
product.
clothes. They don't need a
There's
product,
no product at all.
because you feel this call to
Yeah,
action. You see this story,
yeah.
and you're like, wait a second, this story works for me too. I'm gonna go buy some Nike shoes. I'm gonna go buy a Nike
And
t-shirt.
this works for small businesses, medium sized, but it works for anybody.
This is
really.
human. This is basics of human
Well,
storytelling and how we share.
and the key to the structure we're talking about, to sort of cap this hero's journey type thing, is that it really allows you, if you could build a simple hero's journey, just try it out, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a formula, almost a structure to write your marketing language through. And that's really what everybody wants, is they want to quit guessing, they want marketing that works, and they want to know what to say. And so if you can put it into a simple story structure and try it out on your own, you really find that it does give you some sort of guidance on everything that you're going to do. And so these concepts, they're powerful. We've said that they're very powerful, and you're probably wondering, how can I take this further on my own? There's three main ways that you can go further here. One, we offer a lot of information on our website that you can go and download. So, first of all, what I would say is, one, go to Dexia.com/the number 3 keys and request a packet. We'll mail you a packet that have the 3 most important things we think for successful marketing: escape and arrival, that we talked about today; 2, necessary beliefs; and 3, how to build a 12-month strategic plan. If you're ready to download that, or if you're ready to have it mailed to you, you can go to the website and you can do that there. The other thing that you can do is simply go to the website and look at the other information that we have. We have worksheets that allow you to work some of these scenarios out on your own and even employ them in your own business. And then finally, if you're ready to maybe move forward with an extensive facilitation, you can test it out. Go to Dexia.com, click on the schedule button, and you can choose a time that works for you to meet with one of our strategists like Adam for 15 minutes, a free strategy session, and get going that way. It's as simple as that, really.
We all love telling stories, and we all listening to stories, and we really want to help you figure out what is the story that you need to tell.